And I'm back with good news. So for all of you who are watching along online, obviously you do have your comment section on Facebook, YouTube as well. What we are offering here is we are guessing we're closest to the time of that race, of the women's.
It's Katrina Bissett's time, I believe.
Yeah, so if you can guess
time.
Katrina Bissett's time, the closest one to Katrina Bissett's time will receive a signed singlet by Katrina Bissett. Hopefully an Australian record holding Katrina Bissett. So do make sure you get your comments in there on YouTube and Facebook to try and guess Katrina Bissett's time and hopefully win a signed singlet. And that was an unreal race. I'm actually a bit flat. Mick Massini is absolutely to the rescue down here right now. So on the start line now, we do have our men's D5000 with hip number 1, Ian Burrows, unattached. Number 2, Seth Chan of Old Scotch. With number 3, Michael Johnson of Richmond. Number 4, Daniel Rees. WOD, I'm going to need some help there, Glenn Turner. Number 5, Daniel Velardo of unattached. Number 6, Andrew Carey of WTN.
WTN Williamstown, WOD Wodonga.
Thank you so much, Williamstown and Wodonga. Number 7, Alexander Ruda, unattached. Number 8, Damien Bruno, Essendon. Number 9, Bevan Does, unattached. Number 10, Long Nguyen of Glen Huntley. Number 11, Grant Simpson of the Bellarine. Number 12, Sam Arnold, unattached. Number 13, Russell Jenkins of Bendigo University. Number 14, Alistair McDonald of Western A's. Number 15, Dylan Littlejohn of Diamond Valley. Number 16, Show Waller, and we will call out the rest of these as the race gets underway. And we come back from the starter's hands. And racing. So you are going to see these gentlemen sort themselves out. Similarly to earlier, I think, Mick, over the first 400 metres of this race. And big thank you to Michael Massini doing a lot of technical work behind the scenes right now. So thank you. As these boys will sort themselves out. A run culture singlet, I believe, on the inside there in Bevan Does.
What does he do?
Leads.
leads races.
He leads
does it well.
That's what he does. So these boys going to make their way around through that first 200. Boys, I mean, it's boys to men, really. End of the road. Hopefully someone gets that reference. So this whole 22-man field is going to sort themselves out. Now, they are running a little bit wide right now, but that's okay, only natural. And it is Bevan. Well, over the stadium they're saying Doze, but I like Does because there's a lot more jokes to be made with that one. So we're going to say...
Yeah, that's what we want to do on commentating, is make jokes about people.
Bevan does love to lead, and he's doing that beautifully right now. He's leading out an entire field, and Long Nguyen in third position there is the beneficiary of that nice sit. So look at this now. They are literally... a line.
How is the diversity of singlets here? Most curiously, the Russian singlet in fifth at the moment. We see a Surf Coast Track Club singlet. Julian Spence, I'm not sure if there's any more available for sale online. What else do we have? We have Run Culture leading the way. Bevan does like to wear Run Culture. We've got Melbourne Pack in there as well.
Thank you, Chris. I'm glad you got my boys to men reference. So I'm going to take a stab. Alexander Ruda does seem Russian, so I can understand the Russian singlet.
It's pretty. That's one of those things, though. It's getting the national team kit could be really legit, and we just don't know it. Or managed to get his hands on it. Like, that's one of those things that they don't openly sell those national team kits.
Usually you have to trade them.
Yeah, like you can support your local footy club, but
Yeah.
Can't support your national team. You can buy a Socceroos jersey.
Yeah, but where's the Australian singlets, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, the Russian one looks pretty cool. It seems legit, something different out there. We see the Melbourne Pack one. We see the Western Athletics one, most importantly.
Yeah,
the mighty Western Athletics. As the athletes come around 800 metres, as we said, the highest seeded athlete is Ian Burrows, unattached with the hip number 1, and his PB is 16 dead. Also, Andrew Carey of Williamstown, 15.58. Alexandra Ruda, the athlete in the Russian singlet, 15.59 as well. So 3 minutes 12 for 1K is the pace for a 16-minute flat 5K as they go through that first 1 kilometre in 3:12 on the nose.
Yeah, we'll have a look at this. Johnny Yates, or Yeats, I apologise if I've got that wrong. He's going to come right around. So 16 minutes, really good time. Obviously, that's our fastest seed time in the race. But Johnny Yates, or Jonah, and I apologise if I've got those wrong, but I'm going to say Jonah Yates, 16.45, his PB. So he's certainly going to be a man who wants to go well and truly under that. Now they're really re-bunching up, which is very interesting because you would think that you're going to find a comfortable rhythm to sit and just find your position, but these guys are more than happy to run wide in order to make their presence felt. So we do see Alexander Ruda, our Russian. I can't take my eyes off him now. You said he's got the Russian singlet on. I'm just fascinated. So I've got to ask him after whether or not he's competed for Russia or what the go is.
See what the backstory is. Could be our first interview of the evening.
Yeah. A pack of about 9.
Now, as these athletes get settled, Mitch, let's just talk about this women's 1K coming up. So we've got a number of Australian records on the line, and tonight Katrina Bissett has said that she's going to go for the Australian record in an attempt to raise $30,000 for Lifeline. Now, as we said, I think she's just shy of $19,000 right now. So to give some money to Katrina Bissett's cause on Lifeline, go to givenow.com.au and type in Katrina Bissett, Catriona, Catriona Bissett, Bisset, or even easier, type in 1000M record attempt. So that's givenow.com.au, record attempt in the search bar, and you'll see the 30 for 30, Katrina Bissett's 1000M, 1000 metre record attempt come up. So givenow.com.au. The link is via her Instagram page as well. So she's gunning for $30,000, just shy of $19,000 right now. Exciting thing, she is going to sign a Nike singlet, and that is going to be for the winner of our guessing competition. So if you're watching on the YouTube page, in the comments, chuck in your guess. What will Katrina's time be? Whether she wins or not, what will her time be tonight? So to give some context, her PB... her PB over 800 metres is 1:58, which is the Australian record. The national record is 2 minutes 37, which is chasing and we reckon well and truly capable of. So to give some context, 2:37.8 is the national record. That is the time that she says she's going for. Guessing competition. So the one who's closest wins the signed Nike singlet by Katrina Bissett.
Yeah, and that's one of a kind, that singlet as well. There wouldn't be any other Katrina Bissett Nike singlets that are signed floating around. So certainly have a guess. Nothing can hurt from at least having a guess and winning yourself a piece of athletic history potentially with the Australian record under threat. Going for her second Australian record, Katrina Bissett. So a sensational effort to raise that much money for Lifeline as well. Obviously far more than just the athletes. So is everybody on the track tonight. But really, really good to see her use her platform to be able to spread an incredibly positive message as we see Michael Johnson move his way around the lead. So we have had a fair share of leaders here. Michael Johnson now wants to take it up. Bevan does too, but he's...
Bevan did.
Yeah, Bevan did. Now, Bevan does want to sit on the shoulder. So he's going to sit on the shoulder of Michael Johnson. And this is still a pack of 9. Like, these guys have not broken up whatsoever. On the back of it there is Long Nguyen. And still, Alexandra Ruda is still right there. Our Bendigo athlete as well in Nigel Preston looks really comfortable to me. So too does Seth Chan. And Bruno, he competed in the 5,000 metre championships and ran an incredibly tough race. So Bruno's certainly one to keep an eye out for. But this pack...
Well, as I was saying to Isaac in the previous race, Mitch, that watching the last race was a bit like watching a Zatopek 10K. You know how sometimes the packs will almost split into two or three separate packs, rather than athletes strung across the track until the very late stages, of course. And that looks like what's happening here. Yeah. So we've got our front pack of 9 or 10, but then the other guys in that B pack, we'll call it, are running pretty smart. They're sort of packed together as well. Starting to get strung out a little bit more now, but everyone's racing smart as we almost head to the 2.5K mark of this race.
Yeah, so Bruno got to the front really quickly, but then got it snatched right off him by Nigel Preston. So Preston now to the front. Bevan does sit on the outside. Bruno on the inside there from Essendon. So too Seth Chan, and beautifully there is Ian Burrows. So Ian Burrows, our man with the fastest time, he has been out of the trouble. He hasn't had to do any work, and now he's going to work his way through. So 8:22 on the clock, and these boys, I reckon, Nigel Preston wasn't happy enough with that pace, and he's going to the gas isn't down on the floor, but it's certainly making its way there. And now Bevan does want the lead. And there he is.
Smart racing from most of these lads in this front pack. He's, as you said, Bevan does. He hung in. He was leading early on, rested a little bit. Now almost at the 3K mark, he's at his rest. He's ready to go again.
Ready to go again.
And all these athletes, or a bunch of these guys in this leading pack, are 16-minute 5K men. So like just under 16 minutes or just over 16 minutes within all PBs within 10 seconds or so. And they're thereabouts on pace. So it's whether they'll hang on to that pace that they've set early on, go faster or go slower, really.
Well,
they're your three options from here, aren't they? They contract me for my insight.
I just think that these guys are now going to start to put it down. So you're right, they've only got a few options. The man that I was really happy with, and now he's moving around, is that Seth Chan. So Seth Chan of Old Scotch. Again, those Old Scotch colours coming through. Seth Chan right on the back there. He's looked incredibly comfortable. He's got the splitties on. Now Damien Bruno is going to be the one to go, hey, boys, particularly you, Ian Burrows, if you want to jump on the back of me and you want to not let Seth Chan and Bevan does get too far away, then let's go. And we're not waiting around.
And a bit of insight, Mitch. 9:36 is the pace they need to hit for a 16-minute flat 5K, and that's exactly what they did, just going through 3K there. The front pack of 6, all, half a second, give or take, 9:36.
Yeah, well, they look fantastic. I think it's just going to be really interesting to see how this really pans out. As I've said, these laps now, these are the crucial ones. And the man who might be listening to me, does he have a little headphone in his ear? Because right now, Nigel, oh no, it's not. It is Alexander Ruder who moves into third position. So he's going to pull through Bruno and Burrows and potentially Nigel Preston if he can hold on. But Alexander Ruder, he has a serious look on his face, so serious that he has pegged it back to Seth Chan. So that might have been their chance there to really try and blow this field out and see whether or not they can move away. But Alexander Ruder said, not on my watch. So Alexander Ruder pegs it back. Seth Chan in second position there. Bevan does still leading it out, and Damien Bruno is tough.
I love it.
He's not far off.
We still absolutely have a race on our hands, Mitch. The lead is going to change another 3 times till the end of this race. I'm going to say, let's go, and we're going to count them as well.
So I think you're going to see one now.
Not that I'm not going to say that Bevan does not get the win, but he's done an awful lot of leading as Seth Chan, first lead change.
There it is, Seth Chan. I thought he might be able to make a move on the back. He's looking around a little bit, but I just don't think he was happy sitting right there behind Doves. So Doves obviously has a bit of a longer stride. Bevan Chan really wants to try and set this tempo right now. Here comes the lead change, potentially number 2. Bevan Doves might do it on the corner. So I'm going to say he's going to do a Ricky Bobby shake and bake, and he's going to slingshot off this corner right now. So he moves around. Yes, he does. He gets around Seth Chan. Back. And the man who's going to try and almost split the middle, I reckon, is
looking good.
So Damien Bruno, he has that hunger in his eyes. And right behind him, Alexander Ruder. So he has looked comfortable as well. Bevan does now, gets back to the front. Bruno tucks in nicely there. He's in a sandwich of the younger boys either end of him. And the one at the back there, Alexander Ruder. So watch out for Ruder. And I'm going to make a call, and it might be an incredibly incorrect one. Nigel Preston, not out of bringing Ian Burrows back onto this pack, I reckon.
I'm absolutely loving Bruno at this point, though.
Tough.
Tough runner. He lagged a little bit for a moment there. Now he's got right back up on the heels of Does in the Run Culture singlet.
Yeah, that's why I was saying Chen wanted to get to the front. He wanted to control that race and hopefully slow it down, give himself a bit more time to catch a breather, but Bevan Does. He had absolutely different intentions in mind. He said, you want a breather? Well, how about I take all the oxygen out of your lungs? So he is going to stretch them out along here. I think Bruno's not done with yet. As I mentioned, he's incredibly tough, and neither's Alexander Aruda. So, as I mentioned, Nigel Preston has been able to pick up Chen. I don't think he'll be able to get to these front three, but geez, there's a lot of racing left.
They've crept down under 16-minute pace, probably heading for 15:50, 15:55, the first 2 or 3 runners.
Yeah, so Bevan does love to extend the lead. So he's starting to move it out, Bevan. And I reckon Bruno has gold on his mind, I reckon. He is not just going to settle for a time. He's not just going to settle for being up there or thereabouts. Look at him. Look at the arms pumping now, and the man who's going to benefit from having to do none of it and sit right on the back is Alexander Ruda. So I'd be really interesting to know whether or not Ruda has a kick. He's looked incredibly comfortable, but Bevan does. He's still going to be hard to catch. I know you can see that Bruno's arms are pumping, but Bevan looks smooth.
Bruno does look like he's putting in the work, and Ruda looks comfortable behind him. But is that just the way they look? Or do you know some people how they just look comfort in their face the whole time, and they're a real just strength runner, one pace? Let's see how Ruda and Bruno go over this last 500 metres as Does just extends his lead, passing runners in lane 2.
Yeah,
lucky it's not around the corner. He's having to go that extra 3.5 metres per lap, Mitch.
They might have left it too late to try and bring back Does. I mean, he looks incredibly strong. I'm not taking it away from him, but I know Bruno is an incredibly good closer and a tough competitor. So he's spotted Does about 40 metres. I will be incredibly impressed right now. The old man strength on display. Bruno, he's still going to chase. Look at him. He's starting to gap Alexander. And I think Does is going to be far enough ahead where it's going to be too late, but it's been a fantastic race nonetheless.
Absolutely. I dare say in 250 metres we are going to say Bevan does get the win, but Bruno and Ruda are chasing. His legs are not going to Box Hill burn in the last 200 metres as he charges towards the finish line, heading for a sub 15:50, and which would be a PB of... PB of about 30 seconds. I didn't realise. Bevan Does
launching down this home straight right now. So he obviously has no idea whether anybody's around him, but Bevan does love a kick. And look at him. He moves out into lane 3. He says, I love this even more. So Bevan does win the men's D 5,000, 15:35. Cometh the moment, cometh the champion. Alexander Ruda, 16 minutes. He's going to PB. So too is Bruno, a 16:18 on the clock. All these gentlemen here right now.
Ian Burrows, 10-second PB.
Sensational racing.
Seth Chan, a PB of about 10 to 15 seconds as well.
He loves it. Seth's got his hands up.
Michael Johnson charging towards the finish line.
Villado.
Daniel Villado, PB of about 20 seconds there from Villado. Huge. Johnny Yates, not quite a PB for Johnny Yates.
Close for Johnny.
But there's bound to be one in the race.
Matthew Christie, definitely a PB there. Well done, Matthew.
Grant Simpson just missing out on a PB there as well by about 5 seconds.
So well done to all the gentlemen coming down now.
Long Newen finishing there on PB pace.
Sam Arnold, he's going to dip in under the PB too. So everyone here is dipping in. Andrew Lego, he's gone over his PB, but still good racing nonetheless.
And as we mentioned, real combo of those super shoes, fancy new spikes, and a few old school ones. As you mentioned, you're a bit of an old school.
I am.
Old school,
and
Mitch.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying seeing the old school spikes out here.
Combo of shoes in this race. You know, I did a fun run event on the weekend, and I reckon the first 50 to 100 people lined up on that start line. We're talking community fun run here. Super shoes.
Everyone's got the
Love
super
it.
shoes.
It's a real isolation.
Like
I'm buying myself a treat. I'm getting faster. Super shoes.
Yes. Well, I've done one park run, so I've earned them now. Super shoes.
It's unreal. Plenty of smiles on faces at this finish line as well. Celebrating PBs, as we love to see. And as we say always, home of PBs. Box Hill, here at the Box Hill Burn.